time for Leadership Off the Leaf. Great leaders smoke great cigars. Now, in their fourth season, Austin and Dice are back with more leadership advice and cigar knowledge to share. Grab a cigar and let's put some smoke in the air.
Welcome to another episode of Leadership of the Leaf. My name's Austin.
Hey, Austin, what's up, man? I'm Dice.
Chuckles McGee over here.
Yeah. I was just thinking, it's so close to St. Patrick's Day,
It is.
and
Very close.
I'm not smoking a Candela.
You're not even gonna smoke like a filthy hooligan? Which just is a Candela barber pole.
Maybe.
I'm still sad I never got to get the filthy hooligan.
Oh, the Halloween one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just look in the mirror, fuckboy.
That is awfully rude.
I would never be rude to you, Austin.
You know what?
I'm pretty confident you was going to share your what? I, sir, am smoking a slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse. Yeah, what you said. Ventura cigars. Some may call it a budget stick. It's not a very expensive stick or cigar because some people don't like stick, but Stogie,
brown tube that you place in your mouth hole.
Herfinado. Okay, I made that one up, but it sounded good.
Got it.
That lighter's dead.
I just want to point out this is the epitome of good leadership. Is always being prepared, as Dice is not.
Well, I am 100% prepared. I want our listeners to hear the awesome jet flame coming from my Calibri.
I can't hear shit.
What is that? What the fuck is that? What is in your glass?
Ice and whiskey.
Whiskey, huh? Just regular ass. Oh, wait, you are smoking the same thing, right?
Yes, I'm smoking a slaughterhouse.
Okay. Ice and whiskey. What kind of whiskey, sir?
Are you seriously asking? You're half lit, by the way. Again, let it be known, Dice cannot light a fucking cigar at the same time. It is polling station, very small batch, blend of straight whiskey.
Yeah, you had me at small batch.
Get fucked. Anyways, VS.
Oh,
VSOP.
You remember? Was it last episode? You was drinking a fucking old fashioned. Was it old fashioned? And you smoked it, right? So, sir, you have inspired me.
Apparently more ways than one.
I made a Hennessy old fashioned, and I smoked it with oak.
Ooh, oak.
Oak chips, whatever you want to call it, but it's oak, and it is fucking delicious.
Congratulations. Now, when you smoked it, did you place the oak chips in there just right, and then did you use the torch flame lighter like I've showed you how to do, and then did you hold it down there for like 3 to 4 seconds to make sure all the smoke was well into the glass before you removed the smoke?
What are you doing right now? I was smoking my shit before you.
I'm just trying to make sure you're doing shit right.
What? Is my cigar lit right? Huh?
Probably not.
Oh. Was you feeding into the subject of our podcast there, sir? I think I just caught on to that, and such a lame ass for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing.
I was like,
my perfect segue has been ruined by Dice's inability to pay attention to the fucking subject matter.
I was like, "What? Are you serious right now?" In my head, that's what I was thinking. It's like, "Are you fucking serious?" You bought your smoker after I bought my. What the fuck are you?
I'm dumb.
Totally fucked that up. So, if someone wants to know, our subject for today's episode is micromanaging, which Austin did a perfect example of that. So lame.
I'll be interviewing for new co-hosts. Please hit us up at Leadership Belief on Instagram. Send me your 5-minute video spiel about why you should take Dice's place.
No one can replace me, sir. No one. There's only one Dice, and it is so fitting for this podcast. You'd be like, you know what? Bring that old Dice back.
You know what? All I'm going to say is there's only one way to find out.
And I don't want to find that out. So, one thing about micromanaging, which I know everyone is going to say the same, is typically received as something negative. Overly controlling managers, just like your example you did to kind of segue, which I ruined, is how you was telling me every detailed aspect of how to smoke my own drink that was over here, like I've never done it before. And to be honest, as I said in my head, it was kind of, I was like, are you fucking serious? So imagine you had a boss that was doing that all the time.
Right. Well, and your reaction actually kind of helps highlight the point, right? Like,
yeah,
are you fucking serious? Right? Like that excessive oversight and involvement in the minute details of your employees' work. It's just gonna piss people off. We're like, I fucking know how to do this shit. Like, fuck off. It harms employee autonomy. It really just, it kills their initiative. It kills their motivation. To where they're just like, I don't want to fucking work for you.
What the fuck is autonomy? Autonomy. You fucking educated fuckface. Tell the public autonomy. Who uses that word?
Well, autonomy, like automation, is the ability to act independently and make your own decisions.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Absolute opposite of I don't know, like a basic training type situation where they tell you where to go, where to be, how to think, when to do what, push-ups, whatever, pull-ups, whatever, right? You know, like, do this now. And you're like, all right, I'm going to do push-ups. And like, now down, now up, now down. You're like, God damn, I know how to do a push-up. Now I don't care. Up, down. You're like, fuck. That's what that is, right?
Some people may think that micromanagement is subjective.
I think the levels of it are subjective. Right? Like, so I can almost guarantee you most managers or leaders that listen, especially if they listen, I don't want to say especially if they listen to this podcast, but if they were to listen to this podcast, right, they'd be I am not a micromanager. Those guys fucking suck. And then they're going to go to work. They're like, I have an eye for detail. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. The perception is going to vary based on individual experiences, expectations from the work, right? Like, when you're a new guy, you kind of expect to be micromanaged because you got to learn how to do the job, right?
Well,
but if you're a 10-year veteran, you kind of expect to be left the fuck alone to do the work.
Is that, I don't want to get it, is that confused like training? Like, am I training you? Like, if you're the F and G, right? Training, would you say that's,
I would say that's
micromanaging?
A form of macromanagement.
Well, that's where it comes to subjective, because, well, let's just say a 10-year vet or whoever has been doing it. I've been doing this shit for over 15 years, homie. I should be training you and you're overseeing me. You're helicoptering parent. You're helicopter mom me right now. Are you serious?
Right.
I've been doing this before you was wiping your ass, boy.
Like, I just need to know what format you want me to use to put the expense report in. I know how to do a fucking expense report.
Yeah. Well, we use Excel here.
Okay, great. Yeah, but and Dice is right. What one person sees as, supportive oversight, another is gonna see it as like intrusive control. Well, I'm just supporting you. I'm making sure that everything's done right. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You're honing in on my work.
You're suffocating me, man.
Yeah,
I need some space.
and I you know what? I'll be honest right now here. I'll be a little vulnerable. I tend to do this with new people, even though they may be higher than me, to just like let them know how everything runs, and I'll sit there and try to do stuff for them, and then I have to take a step back and I'm like, they fucking could have handled that on their own. Like, I need to chill out. And then I go to them, I'm like, hey, really sorry. I've been doing your position as an acting manager or whatever for so long. I forgot what it feels like to have an actual manager who knows what the fuck they're doing. My apologies. And they're usually like, no, it's cool. I was a little bit concerned you were going to be that way for a while, but it's cool that you came up to me and apologized.
It can be disempowering and frustrating, but it's also a point where I know for me, since you was using you as an example, so for me, I will talk to people like they're in first grade, second grade, third grade, all the way up until I see that, okay, he's not a dummy head. He knows what's going on. He knows the ropes. I can step off. I can step the fuck off. I don't need to be a micromanager to this guy or girl or whatever the fuck is going on. But until that point, I don't know your skill level. I just don't know. Yeah, sure, you got hired on as a very high skill level, but people lie all the time on their resumes, homie. I gotta feel you the fuck out. So if you feel like I am micromanaging you, just like you were saying, it's probably just going to be at the beginning until I see can you handle it? Clearly you can, or in your case, clearly you cannot, and that's why I stayed and micromanage you, even like right now.
You micromanaging me?
Yeah.
Since when?
Day one? No?
No.
Get fucked.
Yeah. Fuck you. That is falsity. Good. No, yeah. I get what you're saying, right? Like, let's say you have a manager who's frequently like checking in on a project to make sure, it's going the right way. Like they're thinking that, hey, I'm providing support. But in reality, what is actually happening, what your employees are feeling, is like suffocation and frustration, and like just leave me alone to do the fucking work, man. Like if you're building a house and you're the foreman, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be like, hey, all those nails in. You get all those nails in and everything, all the studs up. Like, bitch, do you see if all the studs are up? Like, you don't need to come ask me. You can look. Do I see all the studs up? Yeah, they look. And then if you think something's out of place, like, hey, why isn't there a stud right here? You're like, oh, I'm going to frame the door in right there, so I haven't put a whole stud because I got to cut the door and do all the stuff. Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure everything else looks great. Bye. And then you walk away. Ask a quick question. Hey, is this right? Like, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing something or I'm going crazy. Usually people are like, oh, no. I'm coming back to that later. All right, cool.
You are crazy.
For putting up with you.
When it comes to micromanagement like that, see how I just ignore that shit? Come to micromanagement like that, it erodes that whole autonomy feeling, that whole autonomy, that word you was using earlier. And it can dampen morale. It signals a lack of trust in your employees. In a lot of scenarios, it's like, if you going to micromanage, why don't you just fucking do it? Just you do it. Why the fuck am I here?
Well, yeah. But, it's funny. I recently had a guy, he started working at my company, right? And He was just a coworker, but he was basically training to be a manager. So he was going around and he was trying to learn all the different jobs so he could better manage everybody. But I think leadership had him on too long of a track for his liking, and he felt like he could do everything. He came in day one kind of arrogant, like, yeah, I already know this. Yep, that makes sense. I'm good. Like, I already know. And I was like, you don't know. And so, like, he would sit there and, let's say he got put in charge of a project. He would sit there and be like, hey, did you type it this way? I'm like, motherfucker, you have been here a whole of 2 weeks. I have been here a whole of fucking 15 years. Fuck off. Get out of my shit. Get out of my shit. Like, I get that you came from another company where you were like serving as a manager or whatever for, 16, 15, 20 years, whatever it was. Like, I get that. Got it. But don't think you can come over into my business and tell me exactly how to do my shit. Like, it was very fucking annoying. So it's that message of, I can't trust you to do it right on your own. It's basically what he was conveying. Right? Like, if I'm not there, they're gonna fuck it up. Well, if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. No, fuck off. Like, what that's gonna lead to is gonna lead out to burnout in your people because they're dealing with your ass every day, and it's gonna lead to burnout in yourself because you are having to do everything because you haven't learned how to fucking delegate and step back.
Well, I know for a lot of the people that do that whole micromanaging thing or whatever, and I'm not saying I've never done it, but it is, you think you're doing what's right. You think you're doing what's best for the team. That's how a lot of micromanagers see it. Like, oh man, I'm so glad I was there to make sure Austin takes a sip out of his drink and fucking smoke his cigar properly. Like, Austin, I know you can drink and I know you can smoke a cigar properly, but I'm glad I'm here, buddy. I'm glad I'm here to help the whole team out. I'm making everything better.
Get fucked.
But I mean, I would assume, because I know when I was doing it, that's how I felt. I'm like, man, I want this done right. And the whole time, I'm very confident. My team was like, yeah, motherfucker, we know how to do this right. Shit, you trained us already.
Right. Like, you're the one. What does it say about your training, right? Like, if you're the one training the people how to do something, and then you have to go back in and micromanage them. What the fuck does that say about your training skills? To me, that automatically just means that you're a shitty trainer who shouldn't be in charge of a fucking team, or you shouldn't be training anybody because obviously you're not doing it right. Like, either you're training them wrong or you're micromanaging. Just saying. Yeah. You're sitting there kind of like constantly being over somebody's shoulder, and you're trying to intend that you have quality control measures in place, that you're minimizing mistakes. What you're really doing is basically saying, hey, I don't trust that you guys can figure out anything on your own. I don't feel like you guys are smart enough. If any problems should arise, I don't feel as though you're smart enough to come up with the right answer or a good answer in the same regard, right? Like, not even the right one, just a good one. I don't think you guys can come up, like, I don't think you can find your way out of a paper bag. Like, what, bitch?
Anybody that has dealt with like that strong micromanager like that, 100% can probably relate to, it leads to frustration. 100% leads to frustration. It can go to resentment. It definitely lowers the morale of the whole team.
Well, I hate that.
It increases errors, like half-lit cigars. It increases errors. It just reduces productivity because it takes away that autonomy we was talking about. And really, to be honest, it can lead to high turnover rate. Like, I can't work for this guy. I can't do this. I can't deal with this micromanaging fuck shit.
Yeah. Well, if you were to imagine, and I'm sure people out there can, but if you were to come into work every single day and just be basically told that you're a fucking moron every single day, eventually you're gonna get over that shit and just be like, you know what, boss? Dig it where the sun don't shine. I'm out. And you're just gonna walk out like, fuck off. And they're gonna be flabbergasted. Well, I was just trying to help. You're in my fucking way.
Can you believe this guy?
Yes. In fact, I'm gonna leave too. Fuck.
I didn't know you was unhappy.
Yeah. But if you're constantly controlling and you're constantly monitoring all their employees, you're gonna have unhappy, less productive workers. If you look at any dystopian movie, right? Man, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head where they use it, but I can't.
Idiocracy?
No.
Well,
I'm thinking like, you got the floor workers and you got like a camera and the camera's sitting there watching the employees and you're like, number 257, that's not good enough. Redo it. And they're like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, it's a dystopian future and everyone like watches the movies like, God, that would suck to be in a place like that. and then they go to work and instead what they don't have is, it's not so obvious because it's just your boss walking around constantly over your shoulder, is instead of a camera and you guys all in fucking lines doing shit, he's just, hey, how's that report coming? Hey, no, I think I don't like the word happy there. I think I'd use glad instead. Bitch, does it matter? Well, no, but I feel like it would be a lot better. Like, oh my God, shut up.
Studies show employees with higher autonomy. Man, I'm glad you said the definition of that word. I really am. We're using it a lot. You're a smart guy.
I'll try to.
They have a higher autonomy and better mental health, happier. And to be honest, if they'd be a whole lot more committed to whatever the organization, company, whatever's going on, because they know they play a part. They're a cog in this whole process. They're not just waiting to be spun by someone. They can actually spin on their own.
Well, it comes down to the fact of I have some freedom and leverage to make my job better. I see processes that need to be fixed, and I have the authority to fix them. I have that trust, and that makes me happy because then I can make this play. It's not just a mindless bureaucracy. I have the ability to fix what I see are problems, and my boss values my input, and that's important for a lot of people. Kind of like what the first third of your cigar would be.
Man, that was good. Because I was just trying to think of a segment. That was good.
Hey, I'm just happy that you were able to understand that it was a segue this time.
I got a slight sweetness of the tobacco, and it's definitely on, I would say, like a light charred oak side. Or cedarish oak. Is that better?
I can get the cedarish oak, but I also get leather.
That's what's on the tip of my tongue then.
I taste leather. Now we do have different drinks, right? Like mine's a little bit spicier, but if I retrohale, I get a little bit of black pepper on the back end, but it's very good.
Yeah, for the price point of this cigar, I came across this Chili by, I guess, accident, luck, however you want to say it, but it was a great purse string type cigar, in my opinion.
Don't be coy. I told you to buy it. because I have control over your purse string.
You fucking liar. You mentioned you mentioned this before. You mentioned this before. You did about burnout.
Oh yeah, burnout. It's a thing. It's also a favorite buzzword of a lot of people, and it makes me laugh.
It's funny how, especially leadership conversations or whatever, there's certain buzzwords that just circle back around time and time and time again. And burnout is one of those words.
I don't know of a conversation that I've been in with a lot of senior level leaders, and they're talking about their workforce. I can almost guarantee you, one of the first conversations, if they're talking about their workforce and how to improve said workforce, right? One of the questions is, how do we reduce burnout? How can I reduce burnout? I would rather my employees be here, productive, and happy than not here because they're on vacation because they're unhappy at work, right? Like, I would rather them not feel as though they need to take vacation. Any boss that says, I want you to take your vacation, is because they know that they're gonna burn you out. But like most CEOs are gonna be like, I would rather nobody take fucking vacation, stay here at work and be fucking productive, but I want them to be so happy while they're at work that they don't ever want to fucking leave.
Yeah.
That's what they would like, if they're being honest with themselves. The problem, and it invariably comes down to, we feel as though we're being micromanaged, and I don't feel as though I have enough authority. Is what it kind of boils down to. And they're all like, well, but can't give you really more authority, but we can make sure that you're not micromanaged. And then the meeting, is adjourned, and everyone claps each other on the back, and they're, oh, we did such a good job, and nothing changes, and everyone's like, oh my god, this sucks. But it is true that managers who micromanage often are going to spend excessive amount of time demonstrating tasks to employees. That's just taking away time that could be spent on actual productive work. Like, the manager has their own task.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Their task is to lead the team, QC the team, and direct that team in accordance with the organization's vision and mission statement. Right? Like, I'm going to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do because the CEO says they want to. Our vision is to hit our fourth quarter earnings revenue goal. All right, cool. To do that, we need to be so productive that we make the company whatever, X amount of money. So I'm going to steer us in a way that's going to get us closer to getting X amount of money. If you're spending all your time worrying about what your people are doing and how they're doing it, you're not leading your team.
Yeah. Let me show you how to do this real quick. Hold on. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Come on. I want everyone to pay attention and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got it? Let me show you how to do this one more time. I want to make sure you guys get it exactly. All right. I don't think you got it yet. Let me show you again. How many times you got to show me? How many times you got to show anyone? You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the company's time. Just continuously showing me the same thing. You don't know if I can do it yet. You didn't let me even try. You continuously showing me.
Try or fail.
It often leads to significant expenses, mainly like time. Taking away time in the example that I showed is excessive oversight. Like you were saying, constant monitoring and checking the employees' work. That just sucks so much. It's such a time suck. And when there can be so many other productive tasks done, it's just like unnecessary supervision. It's unnecessary, sir.
Yeah. So I want to throw out an example that I recently watched on Bar Rescue because it's favorite garbage television. There's a bar owner, and she would sit in the back and watch her cameras and watch her bartenders count money, how they're making the drinks, stuff like that. And then she's sitting in the back, and then she'd just call people. She'd call the bar phone from her cell phone and from her office, which is in the same fucking building that the bar's in. Right? It's just literally around the corner. She'd call on her cell phone to the bar phone and tell her manager or whoever to come back and see her because somebody wasn't doing something right. Rather than getting her fucking ass up and walking around and being like, hey, I've noticed you doing this wrong. I'd like you to show me how you do it, and I want to see if I'm seeing the same thing. And her excuse was, if I don't watch them, they're going to do it wrong and steal from me. That was her excuse. And it was, but the argument that I would make is, they're going to steal, like, you watching on a camera does nothing to stop. Like, they're just gonna hide it from the camera.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying go out there and be an actual micromanager in their face, but like, you have to trust that the manager, the team leaders, the people that you have in place are not going to do that. Otherwise, why the fuck did you hire them in the first place?
Correct.
You're just going to have, these inefficient processes, and saying, well, okay, how about this? The employee does the expense report, sends it up to the team leader, who's going to double check the employee's expense report. And then before sending it to finance, I'm going to check it to make sure it's in the right format and the right font and stuff that I want. And then if I have any corrections, I'll send it back to the employee, who then has to send it back to the team leader, who then has to send it back to me. And then if that's all good, then I'll send it to finance. What the fuck, man? Like, tell your team leader, hey, get CC'd on the shit that goes to finance. If it's wrong, fix the employee and then send the corrected copy to finance. And if there's an issue with the employee, come let me know. Boom. Takes like 5 people out of the steps.
And if let's say that scenario, something was like extremely wrong, like there was a big fuck up or something somewhere down the line, that's where if I was that third useless guy in that whole chain, that's where I would step in and be like, hey, this is completely wrong. Let's start over from scratch and then train everyone on the process and then step back and let the autonomy take place.
Right. If you have to step in to retrain, that's different than micromanaging, in my personal opinion.
No, it is.
Because it's like, hey, we maybe had a lot of turnover, right? Retirement, people leaving for other jobs, for bigger, better opportunities, whatever the case is, like COVID layoff, right? Who knows? So I get it. Like, there's always a chance to kind of level set, reset the team, be like, hey, we've been having a lot of fuck ups lately on sales reports, and it's simple shit. So I'm going to show everybody exactly how to do it one time. And I'm going to give you the template that you need to fucking use. If you have questions, talk to your team lead. But if this keeps happening, I'm going to start writing people up. And then you just step back.
Yeah.
So then that's it. Boom. I showed you how to do it. I gave you a fucking tool. I told you if you have questions, check it with your team leads. If they have questions, they can come to me. And then I'm going to step back and let my team leads take care of it. I don't need to be in your shit. Like, it's a fucking sales report. This is 101.
But if you're the type that's always in this shit, like your scenario where it has to come through me before it goes there or whatever, what that does is now your employees or the people on the lowest totem pole, or wherever they're at on this totem pole here, they're now seeking more of approval instead of just getting the job done.
What I've seen is, I'll half-ass this and I'll send it up to the team lead, because the team lead's going to have to fix it because he doesn't want to get yelled at by the boss.
Yeah.
And then, or I'll half-ass it and I'll send it to the boss, because the boss is just going to fix it because he's anal intent anyways.
Yep.
And who cares if I do it wrong, because it's never just like. And so it's just that reduced initiative, right? Employees are going to sit, they don't care. They're not going to seek clarification. They're just going to say, here's what I sent, half-assed, have fun. And then it's just, all right, I'll fucking do it for you. But next time you got to do it on your own. Yeah, whatever, bitch. Be my sales support.
Yeah, well, great example of this whole scenario. A great example of it is I think you kind of mentioned it, where you got a new guy that's coming in, or even not in your scenario. There's just a new boss or a new leader, new manager that's coming into place, and they just spend excessive time just overseeing and correcting every single detail, especially stuff that's, and I've dealt with that too, especially stuff that's just unnecessary, waste times, and just hinders productivity. Overall experience is just frustrating, especially very frustrating for like capable employees. Just I don't want to say like new managers, like young guys, but just like new to the position. The best thing I can say for those type of scenarios is, and get your glass, get ready for this, is communication. You let them know, be like, hey, I appreciate you being new. I know you need to try to understand the process that we're doing. If there's a different way you like the process done, we can kind of mirror it to that. But as far as like the production, the actual job, the meat and potatoes of the job, we know what the fuck we're doing.
I have found this out in a lot of, as I've grown as a leader, right? From a young guy first stepping into his first managerial role to now, where I've been doing this for 15 years or more. Fuck, I don't even know anymore. Anyway, when I first became a manager, I remember there was a situation where I don't even say situation. I know that for a fact that I was like, hey, where are we at with this? And I just go down a litany of lists. Like, what? Hold on. Nobody's ever asked me this before. I'm like, well, I'm not everybody. I need to know where we have this stuff because I have to have these answers, blah, 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 blah. And there was nobody who ever asked me for those answers. Not a single person. But I was convinced that I had to be prepared for whatever questions the boss threw at me. And not a single time did the boss ask me any of those goddamn questions. They always ask me, were you on time? Yeah, we're on time, boss. Great. All right, next subject. And I was like, but I want to tell you how I'm on time because I got all this information. Like, not one time did they care how I was on time. They cared whether or not I was on time. And so as I've grown, I've kind of learned to be like, hey, are you good? Do you need anything from me? How's your schedule looking? Oh, my schedule's looking good, boss. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm under budget. And we should be done by, 3 days early ahead of schedule. I'm like, rock star, killing it, walking away, and next. And, and instead of going, well, how did you get under budget? What did you do? Da, 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 da. If they want me to know that information, they'll share it with me. But until then, it's like, I can be like, hey, my team has worked really hard, and we're actually going to come in 3 days ahead of schedule and about $5,000 under budget. We've just kicked ass, and a lot of things have fallen in our way, and we've made it work. And usually the boss is like, hell yeah, let's go. All right, moving on. And that's it. I don't have to know how we're under budget or whatever, because he's just like, yeah, we're under budget. All right, great. Let's go.
Well, I mean, just imagine if everyone in that chain, that lineup that you just said, if everyone asked all those questions or whatever, right, and wanted all the finer details. I mean, more than likely there's going to be excessive work hours. There's going to be a struggle to kind of like disconnect from work. You're going to experience stress, anxiety. I mean, micromanagement to that level, it heightens. I mean, 100% heightens just that burnout for all parties involved. The micromanager may not think it's burnout for them because they're trying to make sure they get a hole in one every single time, but it's going to burn out them because they're always going to be assessing over finer details that are really unnecessary, and it's going to be burnout for their workers because it's going to be like, why is this guy assessing over the minute fucking details of stuff? Let's just get production done and move forward.
That's the person that let's have a pre-meeting before the meeting.
Yeah.
I want to have another pre-meeting to go over any questions that I had in the pre-meeting. Then we'll have the actual meeting. And then I want to have a post-meeting to follow up on anything that we had in the meeting and anything you guys didn't prepare me for so we could have lessons learned. And then I want to have a post meeting to follow up on any of the action items in the post-meeting. Bitch, what?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? You know, right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, man. You had too many meetings.
Yeah. I need one after all those fucking meetings.
Let's take a break and then we'll talk about our second, third.
Sounds good.
Hola, mi gente. I'm Wanda Hernandez. I'm CEO of Sticks and Stones Productions, and we are here with Dyson Austin, and you are listening to Leadership of the Lead.
Don't forget, we need to follow the podcast so we know when new episodes drop.
Hey. We just got through with all our meetings, and now we're back. We're back to talk about this second, third. Come on, Micromanager Austin. I will say, why are you puffing? I will say. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. Fuck, you're just like magic, son. That letter, you know, the letter flavor, that leather profile that you mentioned has, for me, came to the forefront.
Yeah, I still get a little pepper on the retro ale. I'm new at this, apparently.
Are you getting burned out?
I'm so done. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, the leather has definitely come to the forefront. I still get that black pepper. I still get like a cedarish component in there.
Yeah, cedar's thing there.
But it's a good cigar. Don't get me wrong, still a good cigar.
So before we jump back into micromanaging here, all right. So I'm at a cigar lounge, cigar bar. That's the name of it, cigar bar. While I was leaving, there was two people smoking, and the older gentleman was chastising, I would assume, one of the younger patrons. It was just funny to me. I actually stopped at the door to make sure I heard all the conversation. He was like, "Why the fuck do you do that?" And I was like, "Oh shit, somebody's getting the business. Why the fuck, when you take the plastic and shit off, the cellophane off your cigar and the fucking shit, and then you put it in the goddamn ashtray? Why do you do that? Only thing that's going to happen is going to fucking burn, cause a fucking stink, and then they're going to have to come and empty this ashtray. And you're just, why the fuck would you put trash in your ashtray?" And I was just like, that's a cigar lounge there. The older gentleman is educating the younger smoker on the proper cigar lounge etiquette. Don't put your fucking trash in the fucking ashtray. Fucking new guy.
Do that all the time. No, I'm kidding.
I just thought it was funny. I was like, I gotta stay and listen to this shit. That's funny as shit. Of course, I was like, yeah. Then I left.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right. What was he talking about?
Micromanagement. If you remember, it's micro and it's managed. So micromanagement, along with killing morale, killing initiative, it's going to dampen and damage creativity and opportunity for innovation, right? Because if you're the motherfucker who's always coming up with fucking ideas, guess what? Everybody else doesn't get a chance to do. Come up with their own goddamn ideas.
I'll just let you fucking take full control of everything. Go ahead. I'll just wait until you tell me to do whatever. Jump. Okay, I'm jumping. Not going to decide on my own here.
Yeah. It's just going to foster a toxic environment that stifles creativity, hinders innovation, and restricts organizational growth and adaptability. Again, to me, it's just one of those things. Like, if you're the guy that's coming up with all the fucking ideas, guess what? What happens if one of those ideas fails? Guess who it all comes fucking back on?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna blame everyone else. I'm one of those guys.
Sad track.
Yeah, my team fucking sucks, sir. I
I
tried
had this
to
great idea.
try
They
to
didn't
innovate
implement
them.
it correctly.
I tried to lead them. I tried. They just wouldn't listen. I stood over them, quality control every aspect of what they were doing, and yet they still fucking suck.
And if you're a good manager and you hear that, you're gonna go, you stood over them and quality controlled everything and still failed. So who's the real failure here?
I was control over the processes. That was me. I was control over that.
The process has failed. So
Oh man,
which lie do you want me to believe?
they often dictate stuff like that, right? They dictate how a task should be completed. They leave very little room for employees to do anything on their own. They leave very little room to explore any ideas or any kind of new methods. And it's my way or the highway. Stuff like that just controls, limits, just takes control of any kind of thought process that, hey, the logical thought process to do this. Well, no, we're going to do it this way because that's how I want it done.
Now, there's certain tasks, certain processes that have to be done in sequential order, right? Like, I can't innovate and say I'm going to put up the drywall before the foundation's done. Like, that shit doesn't work.
Right.
Right? Like, there's a step-by-step process. I can't fucking put up the sheet wall. I can't, hey, I put the roof on top. Top of what, asshole? There's no fucking done.
There's definitely an order of mini tasks. You're right.
Right. So I get that in a certain aspect, but if they're like, hey, we figured out we could save some time if while those guys are roofing, we're putting up sheet wall and framing doors, and while that's all done, or while that's being like the electricians are going to go right ahead of us and get all this shit wired, and then we just boop 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 sheetrock right over top of what they're doing, and then it's all good to go. We're just going to do it like, assembly line style. And I was like, whoa.
No.
Everyone knows all the electricity wiring has to be done before we put up sheetrock. Well, if the electricians do their job right, shit will be done right in time before we do their stuff.
No. I've done this many times. No. Right. Well.
But why? Because you're going to fail.
I have a fear of failure. I have a fear of that failure, sir.
Yeah. Because you are.
Oh, ouch. Thanks. That was very innovative of you.
Anyways, because I'm creative. Because I thought. If they're constantly monitored and face excessive demands for approval, the fear of making mistakes is just going to prevent them from proposing innovative solutions, right? Like, if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Right.
Right? And I say that in the way of, you're not trying to make anything better if you're not failing at certain things. I get it. Failure sucks. Nobody wants to fail. Right? That shit sucks. But if you're not trying anything new because you're so scared of being a failure, then you're just going to be stuck in your ways. You're never going to progress. You're going to be stuck in the past.
Well, I was very innovative in my thought process of putting the roof up before the walls. I think it'll save us a whole lot of time. This whole process, you already have the roof. You just put the walls, frame it up from there. You know what happened? That failed. That fucking failed miserably. You know how? You know what? I learned from that mistake. And you know what? I'm not going to do it that way next time. It did not save time.
But if you go, I've learned something else. I can assemble the roof on the side, and then I'll just use a crane to lift it and set it in place, and then it's all done, and I just got to bolt it in place. Like, oh, shit.
Huh.
We could do that if we had like a little jig, and then just, that might actually save us some time.
No, we're not going to do that. I want to reduce any of this kind of collaboration. I don't want you working with the crane people. I don't want the crane people working with the roofing guys. And these fucking wall builders, I don't want them collaborating with electricians at all. No collaboration. Everyone does their job separately. I mean, because a micromanager like that will create just a culture of distrust amongst everyone. And it 100% will discourage any kind of open communication. Could you imagine if the wall guys couldn't talk to the fucking electricians? I don't care where you're running the wiring. I don't care. I'm not talking to you. I'm going to go ahead and put the sheetrock up anyway.
Yeah. Well, that sucks because I'm not done in that area, and now I have to cut into the sheetrock, and they're gonna have to rehang it. Well, that fucking sucks. Now I'm 2 days behind. Not my problem. You should have talked to me first. Should have communicated.
Oh, I saw what you did there. And you see what I'm doing here. Taking a drink.
Being a manager requires a balanced approach, in my opinion. Right? Like there's a time for micromanaging. Right? Training is a time to micromanage.
Right. I don't want to associate training with micromanaging because I know by definition, if you look at the definition of micromanage, that's kind of how you do the training process. But showing you how to do something and then knowing that you already know how to do something and I'm watching and then I'm telling you how to do it again or I'm showing you again, that's the micromanaging part. But yes, interrupted you. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, you want me to jump now?
Oh, please.
Tell me if I could keep going. Or not.
Please, sir, please. I do. Let me just puff on this cigar here. Am I doing this right?
You're half lit. Anyway,
fuck you.
Managers need to monitor performance without being overly critical or focusing on the outcomes. They need to focus on the outcomes rather than processes. And allow those employees the freedom to make their own mistakes and learn from them. I get it. Managers have experience. That's why they're in the manager role, right? So it's like being a parent. You want to save your kid from all the mistakes you made when you were a kid. But if you do that, guess what they never learn? They never learn the repercussions of their actions.
Yes.
You save them from jumping off of a swing so they don't break their arm. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to jump off the swing the first chance they get, and they're going to realize, like, I broke my arm. Why didn't you tell me I was going to break my arm? I always told you not to jump off the swing because you might get hurt. Well, but you never let me do it. Well, now you know. Right? Like, that'd be a good manager. Now you know. You can jump off swing again. Fuck, no, that sucks. All right, good job. Lesson learned, huh?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I probably will. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's it's one of those things. You gotta let them learn. And the good idea, Ferry, is a cyclical bitch. I mean that in the truest sense. Like, I have seen so many of the exact same fucking ideas come right back around after we've tried them, and it's like, it won't work. And everyone's like, oh, it won't work. Oh, yeah, everyone says it won't work. Well, okay, yeah, I agree. There's a good chance it won't work. However, we have new people, new technology, and let's implement it in a different way. Maybe it will work. Maybe we just need to tweak it. Maybe it is a good idea. We just need to tweak it. I don't know. Gotta learn, right? Gotta learn.
Why are you so negative? You never let us try anything new.
Exactly. Because you all suck, and I'm afraid that you're just gonna fail because that's what you guys do.
Oh man, it's all about timing of how you help, timing of help altogether. Effective managers often help when employees are ready to receive it rather than preemptively. Like, hey guys, that's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. It's a step that's a little tricky. If you need help, I'm right here. Instead of, here, let me show you, move out the way. Get your hands off of it. There's a difference approach there.
And again, I kind of liken it back to being a parent of a toddler kid or something, right? Like,
let me do it.
yeah. Eventually, you're gonna have to let go of the fucking bike and let the kid ride the bike on their own, asshole. Like, my kid's riding a bike, not only with you fucking holding them up. They have not learned how to balance because you just keep fucking holding them up. Eventually, you have to let go of the bike. You have to take that chance and let them go, and then they're gonna realize, like, wait, don't let go. And then you're like, no, keep going, you got it. And then they're like, right, and you go, I'm doing it. And you're like, yes, you are. And hey, I'm gonna train you on how to do this tricky part, and now I'm gonna let it go. And they're like, but don't hold on. I might need you. I know. I'm right here. I'm right around the corner. You got it. All right. Hey, I did it. Good job. I knew you could do it.
Yeah.
If you need help, I'm right here. I'm literally around the corner. I just got my own work to do. Right. You gotta clarify the role of helpers. Managers have to make it clear their involvement is to support, not to judge or take over. This helps create a psychologically safe environment where employees feel comfortable seeking and receiving help. If you're just constantly always doing, like, let me do it. You're not doing it right. Let me fucking do it. They're not going to ever ask you for help, one. And then two, if they do get help, they're going to feel like a failure.
Well, I mean, the whole process is aligning your involvement with their needs. Like, if the kid has got the bike down, you're good, right? So you don't really need to stay engaged or involved with that whole process. So your frequency of involvement is not really necessary.
Right.
But
then you could go up into the garage and sit on a patio chair and watch them go up and down the street. They're like, you're doing great, bud.
But again, like, let's say he falls and scrapes his knee or whatever, and that's when leaders should, like, engage. That's when the parent or whatever should engage deeply. Like, oh, sometimes like this happens. Sometimes you fall off. But you know what's important is you get back on and you fucking start riding in that bike again. Or however idioms you want to throw in that whole scenario. But it's important that you was there to provide that immediate support when there was an ongoing issue. He fell off the bike, skinned his knee, kiss it, Band-Aid, get back on the bike. We can do it. I don't need to hold the bike anymore. You know how to do it, and you fell to the left. So I bet you next time you won't lean so far to the fucking left.
Yeah. Well, and it goes right, like, you know, when the kid starts riding the bike, right? You're holding the seat, you're running right next to him, and then you kind of let go and you're kind of running next to them a little bit, and then as they keep going, you just kind of stop running so much, and you're just kind of watching them, and you're like, oh damn, they're doing good. And then next thing you know, you're literally sitting in the lawn chair going, like, watch them go up and down the street, wave at them as they go by. You still see them, so that if they fall and do skin their knee, you can rush to them and be like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's important to develop trust in that workplace. It's important. Managers should focus on building that trust. Leaders should focus on building that trust, especially with their team, employees, or however, allowing that delegation of tasks to take place, allowing that autonomy to work out on its own. Employees can build trust with their leaders also as doing quality work, you know, showing that I can actually do it. Like, you don't need to micromanage me. I can show you I can do the work. I don't need this excessive oversight. I can do the work. I can show you I can do the work. And once I'm done, you're going to be like, damn, you really can work. You can really A plus shit. Yeah. You know, you pretty much, the employee can build that trust by showing the leader or whoever is micromanaging, like, I don't need this oversight. You can trust me. I got this, homie. You know, give me 50 feet.
Yeah. You know, micromanagement, like we said, generally viewed detrimental to employees' morale. We talked about all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It can be beneficial in specific short-term situations, such as training new employees, right? We talked about training situations.
Yeah.
Managing a high-risk task or addressing a lack of capable personnel to take charge, right? So if this is you're building a nuclear bomb, I'm going to micromanage the fuck out of you so you don't blow us all the fucking high head.
Yeah, that's pretty important task, right?
That's a high-risk task, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're like, hey, this shit needs to get done right now. Which one of you want to step up and take charge? And everyone's just kind of looking at one another. They're like, no, this shit has to get done now. Who's doing it? And everyone's just kind of still staring at each other. Okay. You know, it's like CPR. Have you ever been to a CPR class? They're always like, you point that person, you call 911. You motherfucker, go see if there's any like a defibrillator or whatever, like
IED.
Yeah, AED, not IED, you asshole.
Okay, all right. Way to micromanage that the fuck up.
Well, the way to fuck it up. I don't need an explosive device.
Improvised explosive device, sir.
I'm aware of what it is, sir.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
So you don't want that?
I don't need that to restart this motherfucker's heart. Anyway, so, short-term situation. Everyone's like gathered around somebody just staring, right? Nobody knows what the fuck to do. And you step in, you start like checking their pulse, their breathing, all this sort of stuff. And you're like, you call 911, you find an AED, you fucking get people out of the way, give us some fucking space, and direct the ambulance here when it comes. Boop, 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 and you start compression. You fucking, call out the fucking time or whatever, right? Like, all that sort of stuff. That's fine. Micromanage, high-risk situation, boom. Short-term, bing, bang, boom. You do this, you do this, you do this.
Bang,
give them
boom,
one pat.
Boom, bow, bow.
Right? Because everybody knows, and I've been through CPR classes. So if you tell the person, you call 911, and then a little bit later you're like, oh, go find an AED. Guess what they're not going to be doing anymore? They're not going to be calling 911 anymore. They're going to go, oh, I got to go find an AED. Like, so you got to direct different people. You, boom, 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 go. And that's I mean, it's micromanaging, but it's a high-risk situation. It's very short-term and specific. Bing, bang, boom, let's go.
Okay, what entered my head, which is wrong in that type situation, is you call 911, you over there get the AED, and you start singing the Bee Gees. Staying alive.
You got Spotify on your phone? Give me the Bee Gees right now.
Let's go. Let's do this. This. We got a life here. We're trying to save a life.
Don't stop.
Another one bites the dust. And another one.
That's still 100 beats per minute, which is really sad.
No. Back on task, sir. Back on task.
Back on task. Knowing when micromanagement is required is key to unlocking effective leadership and fostering that healthy, stress-free, and growth-inducing workplace, right? A short-term, high-risk situation where somebody is in dire need of medical attention, that, yes, micromanage the shit out of that situation if you're the person in the most trained, right? An expense report probably doesn't need your fucking micromanagement.
No.
Hey, send that expense report up. You want me to? You don't want to check it first? No, fucking. You can CC me if you feel the need, but like, I trust you. You can get it done. It's an expense report. If you haven't learned how to do one by now, then I've failed you.
You need to pick up some change of job address forms on the way out.
Yeah, I have failed you. But yeah, certain situations do require for micromanagement. I will 100% agree with that. Training, we talked about it. While it is technically micromanagement, it's a necessary evil. But
necessary evil.
Your go-to.
Necessary evil, like your final third. It's necessary evil.
It's not evil.
Okay. Oh, could be. You might think it's a shit cigar now. It
White
could be
pepper.
evil. Oh, I was wondering if he was going to say it.
The leather is still there, but there's almost a creaminess to it now.
It could be my old fashioned, but I'm still got the, when I say sweet, I don't want people to think sugar and all that type. It's that tobacco sweetness. Yes.
Natural tobacco.
Yes. That part.
Sweet like molasses.
No. Too far.
Too far?
Too far.
Are you micromanaging me?
I'm correcting your flaws.
Get fucked.
So, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, okay. So then let me ask this question then. Single, 5-pack, or box worthy?
It's time to answer the question. Is a cigar box worthy, 5-pack, or just 1 or 2?
Well, I'm going to confess. I have a confession. It's box worthy. I have bought several boxes of these cigars because they are great for everyday smoking. They're great for when I'm watching a bullshit fucking basketball game, like when Oklahoma was playing Brooklyn, like that bullshit kind of game. I mean, this is a great cigar for that because it's like, fuck. And I don't have to concentrate too much on the complexities of a flavor profile or anything. Normally every single one I have, well, even this one, the burn line is good. The ash is great. The smoke output is not overbearing. It's just overall, all around, just a very well put together cigar. It's definitely not something I would be like, oh man, you want to get all the flavor notes and this and that. And no, you don't have to pay much attention to it. So I'm not trying to sell people on the cigar. I'm just saying it's one of my go-to daily drivers. So box worthy is the answer.
That was a long fucking answer for box worthy.
Hey, sometimes I gotta bitch made it up.
All right. Here's my thoughts on this. First off, that game wasn't bullshit. It was phenomenal. Especially since Oklahoma City won. I give Brooklyn full fucking credit. They had us down by 18. They're a scrappy fucking team. We've talked about it before off air. Y'all are on the cusp. I would say if you had some actual people who wanted to fucking be there, not like Kevin Durant or James Harden or Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons, who just didn't give a shit about being on the Nets, right? Like if you had a bona fide young superstar that like actually played their heart out for you guys, you had like second and third option, you guys could be there. All right, that aside, I agree with you. I was leaning towards 5-pack, but the argument you made where it's like, I would not be upset about having this in my humidor at all times, as like a yard work cigar, or hey, I'm playing cards and I don't really give a shit about the flavor profile, or I'm watching something that I don't really want to have to pay attention to my cigar. I just want like, some good flavors in a cigar. This would check all, and it's not too expensive, right? So this would check all the boxes. So I would agree with you. This is a box worthy cigar.
Yeah, good. Matter of fact, this is my last one. I'm going to order another box of them. They don't come in a box. They come in like butcher paper. The slaughterhouse, so it kind of plays on that. I think it's unique. Anyway. So we talk about micromanagement, box worthy cigar. I enjoy my drink. My name is Dice. That's my name. Dice. It's my name. It's Dice. I remembered.
Wow.
Wait, you got something to say?
My name's Austin, and great leaders smoke great cigars.
Facts.
Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.